real roasters. That was just an extra.
Can you?
First up, we have Dusty. He and Alex met in residence at UMB, Neil House to be specific, where they bonded over their love of booze. Dusty was the best man at our wedding, so clearly he's made at least one really bad decision in his life. He's now a master sommelier with his WSET 4, which is incredibly impressive. So naturally he's perfect to kick this off with a pairing of wine and cheap shots at Alex. Woo! Mike's yours, Dusty.
What does Alex's first marriage and his heavenly dog Sadie have in common? He should have pulled the plug on both of them way earlier. My name is Dustin, as Shalyn said, and this gets worse. There's more dead dog jokes, definitely more ex-wife jokes, and don't worry, it's like Henry and Shell's first time having sex, this will be short. Some of you may remember me from other Alex Hendry events, such as his wedding, or his second wedding. It's not true, I wasn't invited to his first wedding. His parents were basically the only ones there, and we're, pretty fortunate they were, because if they didn't attend, then there wouldn't have been anyone there who loved him.
This needs rosé.
I have another joke. What does his ex-wife and COVID have in common? They're both fucking viruses. I'm getting off track. This is not the roast of Elise. That will be when she dies and goes to hell. We are here to talk about Alex Hendry, the man who all the bartenders call a legend and who all the doctors call severely hypertensive. Hendry's blood pressure is like Shaq on a bender, way too high and one line away from a heart attack. It's better if I can look at him. But alas, it was not a large white line that caused Hendry's heart to spike, but instead a large white stick with 2 red lines. And when Shalyn showed that to him, he instantly knew that now he had something that would change his life forever. Anxiety. Joke time. What's the difference between Hendry's 50th birthday and the new SpongeBob movie? If Hendry doesn't get his blood pressure under control, he still might see SpongeBob. I told you it got worse. Let's lighten it up a little bit. Jess Shea, you're from Kincora, right?
Correct.
Right. If a married couple in Kincora gets divorced, are they still cousins? Moving on. The biggest misconception about Hendry is that he's just this drunk from Miramichi with no style, pukes for a beard, and is good for nothing but fighting and drinking. And it's just not true. He's from Sunny Corner. But it is true that people use the words Alex, dangerous, killer, and attack all the time. It's mostly doctors saying, Alex, your blood pressure is dangerously high. It's the silent killer. You're going to have a heart attack. No, seriously. Alex is an animal on the mat. He's a male Ronda Rousey, but with bigger tits.
Here, I hope you're generous.
But enough about Alex's health and divorce. Let's make fun of his looks. I feel about Alex's beard the same way Elise felt about Alex. I don't love it. It looks like the bush of an 18-year-old Amish boy. Last time I was with Henry, I turned around around and he had his arms up in the air, and I was shocked for a second because I thought he was doing a handstand naked. Shaving tip. It should be even and smooth, like Sadie's brain. I had another bit that had to do with talking about how much shit you look like with Shaq, but he's not here and you actually look pretty good tonight, so I'm just going to skip that one. I have one last joke. What does a pink onesie, a genetic predisposition to loving gin, and the best dad in the world have in common? Sully's got all. Not a joke.
Well, shit, we should have saved him for last. Good job, Dusty. Oh my god, I don't know if we can top that, but we'll try. Okay. Maggie, sorry you have to follow that, but you're up. Maggie moved to BI in 2012 and met Alex bartending in Hop Yard. He used to sit at the bar every night, talking about being from Miramichi, until everyone just started calling him the guy from Miramichi. She and Alex were part of a dinner club together, though apparently Maggie's contribution was always showing up empty-handed. But tonight she is bringing something great. Maggie, you're up.
Oh my god.
You have good friends, Alex.
Okay, thank you for that. That was incredible. And I will not even touch that, but I'm gonna try my best. Oh, do you want your phone back? Because yeah. Okay. How is everyone doing tonight? Good. Awesome. Okay, so what I learned, this experience has tested all of my weaknesses, being somewhere on time, with homework complete, and the expectation to be mean about someone I love dearly, respectfully. But I wrote a rap. Yes! Woo! But I will present it in spoken word because I am too light and cringy to actually rap. So, here we go. This is a rap to roast Alex J. Hendry, a guy who looks hella unfriendly. We met at the bar back when I was still drinking. He ordered short rums, picklebacks, dippas, till we were no longer thinking. Straight up, he's chaotic, a wild card, deeply insecure. But he's got your back 100%, that's for sure. Make sure you compliment him today so he remembers it forever, even though he's not getting much sleep and probably will not forever. He doesn't bring home the bacon, but he can cook it. Something fancy, of course, needs to look good. He lifts heavy things, but still calls himself fat, loves to roll around with men on sweaty mats. Sometimes he thinks he's funny too, but only when his wife is in the mood. Let's validate Alex by ripping him apart, because life wouldn't be the same without his 40-year-old heart.
Good job, Maggie. Thank you. All right, moving right along. This will be much less than an hour, so that's all good. All right. So last but not least, we have Jess. We wanted to end with a bang, and Jess is our seasoned roaster. Last year she roasted her dad at Concordays. She also knows Alex better than most, partly because I tell her everything, and partly because she lives at our house, giving us free therapy and helping us raise our baby. If you leave Jess alone in your house for 10 minutes, your cupboards will be reorganized and your floors spotless. In the words of my mom, Carla Murray, who is here tonight, Jess is the only useful one of the bunch. So Jess, let's prove her right.
Carla's not wrong. Thank you, Carla, for that. Hi, everyone. For those of you who I have yet to have the pleasure to meet, I am Jessica. I am Shallon's best friend. I have clocked and blocked more of Shallon's ex-boyfriends than I think even she herself has. I hold Shallon to the highest regard, so even if Alex was, let's say, above average, he would still not be good enough for her to meet. When I first read the invite to be here tonight, I read it as a toast. And I think like my brain just associated a birthday with a toast. It made sense. Anyone else, or is that just me? Yeah? Okay. So I immediately made other plans. And then a couple days later, I stumbled back across the text, and obviously it was a roast. So here I am with bells on. It felt like Christmas morning. Thank you so much, Alex, for asking me to be part of your special day. I hope we can remain friends after this. I would also like to remain friends with Shallon. So Shal, if you don't mind, put on those noise-canceling headphones and head downstairs. Head downstairs for like 5 to 7 minutes. A time frame I'm sure you're pretty used to grinning and bearing. I vividly remember the first time I met Alex J. Hendry, aka Drinks Distilled. It was a chilly August afternoon, and he was doing one of those pop-up cocktail situations at Sugar Skull Cantina. Does everyone remember those? Yeah, they were like so much fun, right? She called me the day before, and she asked me if I would come for a cocktail to support this really cool, nice, funny guy she'd been seeing. So, of course, absolutely I would. Away we went. You can imagine my surprise when bandana-wearing butterfly knees walked over and sat next to her in my seat as I was coming back from the bathroom. I thought, this guy looks like a guy that like hugs his girl from behind as she pays the bill. And here we are.
I'm on the eye.
We'll get there. 2 cocktails may have cost me $64 before tip that day, but there were some valuable takeaways. I learned the bandana wearing was more functional than for fashion. Thank God. I learned that he loves to geek out on the chemical makeup of whiskey, I think making himself feel more of a scientist and less of an alcoholic. The most surprising thing I learned that day was that this was not his first pop-up cocktail situation, and that he has a fiercely loyal group of friends that he owed that to. So cheers to you all. Thank you for being here, and it's lovely to meet you. I don't have a lot of history on Alex, given Shallon and I have only known him for a few short years. So what I did was sit down with Carla and Rod, Shal's parents, and we tried to come up with a few things that we could say to roast Alex. So I'd just like to read a few of them for you. I'm just kidding, I didn't really do that. I do feel, though, based on our brief history, that I have some insight as to what Alex J. Hendry's future will hold. Picture this. Alex Hendry, 40 years, 6 months, retired. He'll be the full-time house husband and stay-at-home helicopter dad that he so yearns to be. Cutting Sully sandwiches into the shape of whiskey drams and preparing meals for Shal over the fire. Leg of something topped with a sauce that he grew and processed and infused for weeks. Pairing it with an obviously complimentary cocktail which required just as much effort to create. Not a bad gig, truly. Next image, Shal. Most kids grow out of the emo phase, but Alex Hendry is living proof you don't have to. By 55, he'll be the sole living elder emo on Prince Edward Island. Represent, El. 55-year-old Alex will attend all of the metal shows and punk rock festivals within a 100-mile radius. You know, something about that, I've always kind of wondered if the moshing at these events were kind of masking for the fact that you like to rub up against boys in the dirt. And like partner that with the jujitsu. But anyway, we're not here. We're not talking about that today. Back to the future, back on track. By mid-60s, in true helicopter dad fashion, he will have moved to whatever city Sully has chosen for a stint of post-secondary. The city will throw part-time jobs at him when they hear he's rolled into town. His favorite kind of jobs. This will be Peak Hendry, best of both worlds. eyes on Sully and he gets to play rescue dive bar. He can still deliver warm dram-shaped grilled cheeses to Sully. And this, my friends, is how it happens. This is how I get my life back. Hendry will rescue one bar, and then another bar, and probably a third bar, making him the man with the most bar rescues in history. He will get so caught up in the hustle and the glory that he won't even notice Shal and I moving in together. By the time he gets to book himself a week's vacation, he'll be handy 70 and we'll be at the beach. We will have changed our addresses to the Matard Shore Road, and it'll be too late. Shallon and I will be living happily ever after on cottage time. Amen. Happy birthday, Hendry. I literally can't wait to grow old with you.
Well done. And finally, the man of the hour. Alex, you have the final word.
Let's see what's happening. Oh, look at me, I'm tall. Hey, zip it. Okay, so I had predicted some categories of things that people would roast me for. Some of you didn't get it, so I'll do it myself. In my response to you, I will also bring up some things that I'm not super proud about. But well, let's go. I actually prepared two versions of this, depending on what my friends came at me with tonight. I assumed they'd bring up the divorce, thanks, Dusty. But wasn't sure if they would mention the full story of my ruthless and relentless cheating ex-wife and constant drug use. Or how much of a wuss I was during the whole thing. But he did. It was fine. I mean, I also kind of assumed they mentioned the string of trauma-based decisions I made after that divorce, including the tattoos and the Chrysler 300. Whoops. But I wasn't sure if they'd mentioned the women who were wrong with me. They didn't, so I will skip that part. I figured they'd talk about my roller coaster self-image issues. Thanks, Shal and Sully, sorry. And Maggie and Dustin. I wasn't sure if they'd talk about how depressed I was with the six-pack. The six-pack came up, and now I'm more depressed. I thought they'd bring up me getting laid off from Biovectra while looking like a drug dealer, but I guess they didn't have to mention it or the Chrysler 300. I was almost positive they'd bring up my ADHD and anxiety, but wasn't sure if they'd bring up the effects of my friendship with them, like the inability to remember dates, process dates, think they were always mad at me, or to be so conflict avoidant that I caved to my first wife and didn't go to Dustin's first wedding.
Oh.
First wedding.
Last wedding. She's still alive, so that could be.
I knew they'd make fun of my drinking and cocktail making and the love of whiskey, but wasn't sure if they'd be lighthearted or call me a borderline alcoholic. That made cocktails not quite good enough to be on a menu outside of Atlanta, Canada, and hasn't bartended a full-time gig since UMB. I assumed they'd make fun of me for batting so far out of my league, being married to Shallon. That I was essentially playing t-ball with Joey Bats, but wondered if they'd also tell me how much uglier I was than her, and I assume that comes later. Some of the stuff that came up I didn't see coming, and wow, I'm gonna think about that. Whoops. You know, if you want, yeah, I think someone called it exposure therapy. Here we are. This is exposure therapy for me.
I charge by the hour.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll buy you a drink. Short run.
Be a doctor, don't worry about it.
Well, let's talk about each of the roasters. Dusty,
I mean, how would I ever make fun of you? You dress well, you're in good shape, you give great advice, you're sensitive, you're thoughtful, you're always put together and there for me. You've talked me through some of the hardest times of my life. You've made difficult decisions easier. You've been kind of a kindred spirit to me. Just know if Kelsey turns out to be a cheating, Molly addicted bitch, this is what your future looks like. Especially if the Ritalin runs out. Just Shay, it's insane how much you've been there for Shallon and I, even from the early days of our relationship. It's shocking how good you are with Sully and how at ease you make Shallon feel when she's having a hard day. You have the ability to empathize. Yeah. And also provide actual physical support. The number of times you've cleaned our house, showed up with snacks, looked for ways you could help that we didn't have to ask for. It's been truly amazing. You're either doing it because of your deep bond with Shallon and your support for our relationship, or you're waiting for Shallon to dump me and forget that she's straight and is your cousin. I'm positive about the cousin part. But as Dawson mentioned, it really doesn't matter in Q4. Maggie, what could I possibly say about one of my best friends who's seen me at my worst, encouraged me to be my best, has believed in me, helped motivate me to keep healthy habits going, and has always supported my work and hobbies and multiple side gigs, you motherfuckers. And has always been there through a lot of my ups and downs. You know, the whole bipolar, forced to be sober, emotionally dysregulated mess of a human that now gets her kicks by looking at moons and staying home with her pets instead of peeking over every nice thing we've done by disappearing into manic self-destructive vacations from real life. I couldn't make fun of that. That would be cruel. Anyway, that's you. That's you. Nikita's not here, so fuck Nikita. Shallon, I'm not even going to try to roast you. I can't lose my second wife. And not for sentimental reasons. It's because then no one would believe I'm not the problem. You are an amazing wife, a true partner, an amazing mother. You pick me up when I'm struggling, which I do more than is fair to you, and always figure out how to make life as meaningful and as fulfilling as possible, even though you have so many things to juggle and be responsible for it. Sully and I love you so much, and I can't wait to see what the next 40 years of my life look like, provided you don't divorce me after the things you've heard tonight. To be perfectly clear, I am who I am, good or bad, because of all of you here today, not just on the dais, but in the audience. And the people that couldn't be here today, although fuck them, those people, Nikita especially. I'll forgive them tomorrow. To have what I have at 40 in spite of my apparently obvious shortcomings is a testament how much all of you have shown me love and how much I respect and admire you all, and in some cases learned from your gigantic fucking mistakes. I guess what I'm saying is, even though we're all a little bit broken, I've been glued back together so many times by all of you, and I appreciate being able to celebrate 40 years surrounded in the most fitting way for me, with my self-esteem in the gutter.